Across Europe, having your own home is becoming a luxury. Rents are soaring, families are struggling to find affordable housing, and young people are still living with their parents for longer than ever. But one city has been long seen as different: Vienna. It still has a large social housing sector and comparatively stable rents.
You can see what's happened in other cities when governments haven't intervened. In some places, rents have become unaffordable.
We've spoken to politicians, housing experts and residents to understand why Vienna has been more successful than other European cities, and where even this model is beginning to come under pressure. A playground right outside their front door, only for residents. For the Boschkowitz family, that's now everyday life.
Do you like this playground?
They moved into the newly built Sophie 7 housing development in central Vienna in May. It is part of the city's publicly subsidized housing program.
This is where we live. In this building, we've got a senior citizen center, a kindergarten, an adult education center, and a restaurant.
This former hospital site has been transformed into 222 subsidized apartments. Hundreds of people applied for a home here.
We honestly thought we'd never get one of these apartments. It's a brand new development with green spaces right in the middle.
The family had wanted to move for a long time. Their eldest son, Nemanja, has severe epilepsy and often suffers seizures during the night. They desperately needed another bedroom, so his younger brother Theo wouldn't have to witness them.
That was our main reason for wanting to move as quickly as possible. Last summer was really difficult. Our older son couldn't cope well with the heat. We can't just take him swimming. So having a balcony where we can set up a paddling pool makes a huge difference.
The family pays around 1,000 euros a month for their 90 square meter apartment. With a combined net income of about 5,500 euros, they are firmly in the middle-class bracket. That's no contradiction in Vienna. Subsidized housing here is deliberately designed to not just be for the poorest households.
It's an affordable apartment. And when you think it's actually public housing, it doesn't look anything like the old stereotype of municipal housing.
Vienna's housing model is often praised internationally. Unlike many other cities, Vienna never sold off large parts of its public housing stock. Today, more than 60% of residents live in municipal or subsidized housing. That gives the city significant influence over its housing market. One place where that approach is visible is in Seestadt Aspern, around 15 kilometers northeast of the city center. What used to be an airfield is now becoming a completely new district for around 24,000 people, including with its own lake for swimming. One who has been involved from the very beginning is urban planner Kurt Hofstetter. He says Vienna's approach is about much more than simply building apartments. Schools, shops, restaurants and public transport are planned from the outset.
That was extremely important because it allowed us to shape how people would move around the district. We could tell them, move to Seestadt, bring everything you need except your car. The metro is already here.
Around 2/3 of the apartments here were built by non-profit housing associations. Only 1/3 is privately financed. The aim is for people from different income groups to live side by side, while most of the land remains in public ownership.
Compared with cities like New York or London, the difference is enormous. There, people in social housing are often seen as those who have failed. In Vienna, it's completely different. Because of the quality competitions, social housing is often better than private developments, despite being cheaper. That's because there's no profit extraction.
Elke Hanel-Torsch is Vienna's housing councillor and responsible for implementing the city's housing policy. She says Vienna's commitment to social housing dates back to the end of the First World War.
There was a severe housing shortage then, and the city made it a priority to provide affordable, secure and high-quality housing for the people of Vienna.
Viennese authorities have deliberately chosen not to leave housing entirely to the market. Why?
Housing is a basic human need, and basic needs should not be simply left to market forces. You can see what happens in cities where governments don't intervene. Housing simply becomes unaffordable.
But does Vienna really have the perfect model? Not quite, says housing sociologist Christoph Reinbrecht from the University of Vienna. Even Austria's capital is no longer immune to today's housing pressures.
Land prices, construction costs, and operating costs have risen, which also affects municipal housing, and that's brought painful rent increases.
Over the past decade, rents for municipal housing have increased by around a third, while rents for privately owned apartments have risen by about half. Rising construction costs have also slowed down the construction of new social housing. As a result, affordable homes have become harder to find, especially for people who are new to Vienna's housing market.
Finding an apartment here still involves a lot of luck. Some people inherited old tenancy agreements and pay almost nothing.
I've lived here since 1982. My rent is just €475 for a 100 square meter apartment. I really don't envy young people trying to find housing these days.
Even so, Vienna is still widely regarded as a leader in social housing. So what can other cities learn?
The most important lesson is to maintain a large housing stock that isn't completely exposed to the market. That takes decades. But once you have it, you shouldn't privatize it or hand it over entirely to market forces.
The Boskovich family has now settled into its new home. For them, solving their housing problem means something much bigger.
Now we can finally focus on what really matters. In our case, that's our son.
Pressures on housing are growing in Vienna too. But the city still shows that political choices can help shape the market, especially when housing is treated as more than just another commodity.